What time did you get away last night? Ian, what time did you get home last night?
What time do you think?
I only asked Ian, love.
And I'm only telling you, Maureen, love.
You've got a lot to learn.
About what?
About a lot of things.
Who from? You?
Maybe.
Or Frank? Or are they one and the same?
You are Ian Webster of 22 Moorcroft Avenue, Fulchester, and you're employed at Rafters Discotheque in Fulchester. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Webster, in your experience as a bouncer, have you ever had anything to deal with drunken people at Rafters?
Well, that's one of the occupational hazards, I suppose. I've had to deal with one or two.
Mr. Webster, when John Palmer first appeared at Rafters, did he appear to be drunk?
He looked a bit rough.
In what way?
Usual signs. Shirt collar undone, tie sort of hanging loose. He didn't look solid on his feet. When he came into the foyer, it was obvious he was drunk. Well drunk.
Why was he allowed entry?
Don't know. Frank's the boss. Was the boss. Frank went straight for him and took him into a corner in the foyer.
Had you been in charge, how would you have reacted?
Well, in my book, a spade's a spade, no matter who they are. There can be no favourites. Frank let him in because of who he was. That's obvious.
Really, my lord, the witness cannot state what was in the accused's mind.
Please limit yourself to the facts, Mr. Webster.
It's a fact that he let him in, and that's not what the game is.
And what is the game, Mr. Webster?
The game is to let people come down to Rafters and have a good night out, and not be hassled by drunks. That's why we're there, to keep them out.
I see.
Palmer and the accused were talking. Did you hear what they were talking about?
I couldn't hear much because of the noise. He was in a corner in any case. Frank started talking straight into his face, and he'd sort of clip him on the head very quick. There was a lot of swearing. I heard Frank shout at him. He said, "Your time will come." Yeah, he said that once or twice. "Your time will come, just you wait." And he mentioned their Kevin. Frank were sort of throwing dummy punches at him. His fist was clenched all the time.
How long were they talking?
10 minutes. Then Palmer slouched inside the disco. Frank was annoyed. He watched him go.
Annoyed in what way?
Just one of his moods. He's very moody, very changeable. If he feels like it, he'll wander around and hassle people.
My lord.
Like he might say, "Watch this," and he'll go up behind someone and he'll start intimidating them or following them around.
Mr. Webster, please limit yourself to the restrictions of the questions you are asked. Members of the jury will disregard what Mr. Webster has just said. He was talking generally about the accused. We are here to discuss particulars. Please explain the difference to your witness, Mr. Hewitt.
Certainly, my lord. Mr. Webster, do you here understand what my lord has just said? The case is concerned with what happened on the night of the 27th of November, 1982, not with any other occasion.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize.
Now, did you notice what the accused was doing when you went in the dance hall?
He was stood away from the dance floor watching Palmer.
Did you see Palmer attempt to climb the tree?
Yes, I saw him climb the tree. I was watching him from across the dance floor. Frank was stood quite close. It's not unknown for that sort of thing to happen.
Is it generally accepted that someone may go a little too far?
Yes, it is really, especially on a Friday. Payday, you see. They all come and let their hair down.
Had you been in charge of the discotheque on the night in question, would you by this stage have been prompted to turn Palmer out?
I wouldn't have let him in.
Did you think that Palmer warranted the action taken by the accused?
No. That's why I didn't understand it. Frank went for him. Then I followed. I tried to get there quickly through all the people. I saw that Frank was upset. I was going to take the lad out with Frank. But he told me to leave him. He gave me a look. He was insistent on taking the boxer outside by himself. He went straight out through the side fire exit. I got the rest of the dancers dancing again.
Is that all that you saw?
No. I wasn't going to follow them outside. Frank being angry and that. I hesitated. Then I decided to go outside and see what was going on. Frank had hold of this lad. He was really going for him, hitting him in the face. He mentioned their Kevin once or twice as he was sort of punching at him. Frank was mad, you could see that.
I'm going to do you for that, Webster!
See what I mean?
Mr. Webster, I will not tell you again.
I'm sorry, I know what you're going to say, but it's the truth. And I'm here to tell the truth.
Mr. Webster, Had you anything at all to drink that evening?
No, I don't drink at all. What I saw in a totally sober frame of mind.
Thank you, Mr. Webster. I have no more questions, my lord.
Mr. Webster, how long have you known the accused?
About a year or so.
And would you say that you've got along well with him?
Fairly well, yes.
Come on, Ian.
Now, you said that the accused was interested in Palmer all night. Now, what did you mean by that?
He kept on watching him, like a hawk, all through the night.
And would you say that the accused was good at his job?
He was the boss.
Would you say that he was good?
It's not a job that demands a lot of skill.
Will you answer the question?
He was all right. You don't need A-levels to do it.
Would you say that the deceased, during this period, was vulnerable to attack from anybody who wanted to take advantage of him?
He was no more vulnerable than anyone else.
And when the accused escorted him from this palm tree, I mean, wouldn't you think that was a perfectly natural thing to do in the circumstances?
Could be.
And when the accused was watching him like a hawk, it could be said that he was merely doing his job, could it not?
Yes, it could be said. But I think there was a lot more to it than that.
Mr. Webster, this court is not interested in your opinions. The court has heard far too much of your opinions. Would you kindly answer the question? Now, is it not possible that the accused felt John Palmer might have been in some danger, not only from others, but also danger to himself?
Look, he wasn't vulnerable. I've seen a lot of lads in that state. They don't usually come to any harm.
Now, Mr. Webster, you've admitted to following the accused outside the fire exit, and indeed you say you heard the accused mention his brother. Is that correct?
Yeah, he was on about there, Kevin, while he was hitting Palmer.
Mr. Webster, the accused neither mentioned his brother nor did he punch Palmer in the face. Now, do you still maintain you heard him talking about Kevin?
Yes.
I mean, is there no possibility that you might have been mistaken with what you heard then with something you might have heard earlier on?
I was stood there, stone cold sober. I heard him say it.
Now, Mr. Webster, you are currently the head doorman at Rafters. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm in charge, temporarily.
And do you expect to retain this position if the accused is acquitted?
No, I don't. I suppose that she'll reinstate Frank. I'll go back to the old job.
Thank you, Mr. Webster. No more questions, my lord.
You may leave the witness box.